Transformation Agenda series on education. I'm Ibrahim Edu and I'm your host. Today it's a wonderful day and we thank God for the opportunity to be alive and to be here with you. Now, I'm going to have a very wonderful discussion this morning. We're going to talk about talents. How to identify talents in our children and how that talent that they have, if they are prepared well, can use that talent to help build Mother Ghana. Now, there's going to be a grand deba in honor of the Honorable Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Yaosei Educho, Minister for Education, who is also the MP for Bosomtwe constituency, on 28th of August. That's tomorrow at Jachi Anglican School Park. The time is 12 p.m. And this is being organized by the Nananom and the people of Bosomtwe. We are so grateful to God for the life of this man, and we celebrate him. He's been a blessing to this country, and I think the people of Bosomtwe recognizes his input into the development of this country and want to honor him. And we are proud, and we believe that tomorrow is going to be a very beautiful time. I'm going to be there right from the studio. I'm going straight to Kumasi to be a part of that program. Now, I want to dedicate a song to him this morning. Wherever you are, Honorable Dr. Yaosei Educho, God bless you for what you are doing for this country. We appreciate you. You're a blessing. And wherever you are, God bless you.
Come on!
Class 91.3 FM. Now that's my station.
You are listening to the Transformation Agenda series on education with Abraham Edu.
Enyela yito ikekpamo ekokuranya bano mawo bohe wale mawo no efonko bobano enyela yito ikekpamo ekokuranya.
Madam Angela Afran, wherever you are, I'm sure you may be with the Minister for Education. If he doesn't understand the Ghana language, kindly interpret the song to him for me. Thank you.
Class 91.3 That's my station.
Come on!
All right, so this morning we are streaming live on YouTube on the Transformation Agenda series page channel. So if you are not on Facebook, you can get us on YouTube. The channel is Transformation Agenda series on education. You can also get that on classfmonline.com or Class 91.3 FM on Facebook. You can also get us on WORDRADIO GH and the Transformation Agenda series page on Facebook as well. Honorable Dr. Yaosei Educho, God bless you.
Hey, I am the Lord. Come on. The one who keep her deep.
Class 91.3 FM.
If
Now
you
that's
are
my station.
an educationist who knows education policy and administration, the associate with infrastructure and not access. The mistake: 100,000 students who are at home because of lack of access. So a serious equity issue that you are not even thinking about. You are deprived communities. See, what has been going on in education in Ghana is that people who are well to do send their children to private basic schools so that they can do well on the BECE, so that they occupy schools at the upper tier of the education system in this country. So if you hold everything constant and then you focus on access, the problem you're going to have is that, yes, you can have quality issues. But when you also talk about access there, right there, constant, and focus on quality, it means that you're quality for a few and you're going to spend
You are listening
tremendous
to the Transformation Agenda series on education.
The less country and not the less privileged. So that you have to do, improve access but confront quality, and make sure that as you boost access, you're also improving quality. We're going to get problems fixed as we move along, but I don't want students to be staying in their homes. I don't want to keep on adding 100,000 of students, frustrated students, every year to the pool of frustrated junior high school graduates who have gone to senior high school but didn't go because their parents could not afford. That kind of frustration should be eliminated forever in this country.
Class 91.3 FM. Now that's my station.
And I'm very who followed the president and his vice president, Dr. Mohamed Baumia. An adventure that began with the implementation of free senior high school, a campaign promise that was made by the president, a promise that has been delivered. Then comes a bold leader, a leader who says, I'm not going to leave any child behind, a leader who says, I will have to ensure that every child, irrespective of which part of the country you were born and you were growing up in, will have access to quality secondary education.
It's my station.
So good morning to you, Honorable Dr. Yawase Educhu. Baby, I will be a Nyamisha Wase. Rugwe Jumanka Sankasa. The secret of successful people has to do with the people that surrounds them. I want to thank all the directors of education. I want to thank all those at the secretariat. God bless you for what you are doing for this country. Minister is doing very, very well because you're surrounding him with good thoughts, good hearts. I want to say a big thank you to all of you.
Class 91.3 FM. Now that's my station.
Thank you. All right. So, Laurentia, baby, you say, Laurentia, good morning. How are you? We thank God for your life. So, let's go. What happened at the camp of the minister?
Okay, thank you. And a good morning to you, to the Honorable Minister, and
Yeah.
to everybody.
You are listening to the
Okay, so good morning.
Yeah.
And I want to say good morning as well to the Honorable Minister, and then to everybody listening to us. So, yes, a lot has happened. And currently, I would just like to state a few things before we even get to that. Now, the minister believes that currently in this 21st century, you cannot do without education. I mean, we would all agree that he's very knowledgeable when it comes to everything that concerns education. I mean, from his background, and then being the deputy minister for education and currently the main minister for education is quite an experience and a journey for him. So with his tenure, since he has been on the seat, there's been a lot of achievements that are attributed to him, and most of these achievements has to do with the 7 STEM senior high schools that we currently have. I think we are done with 5, and then we have about 3 yet to operate. And then we have some of the e-blocks that has been done, completed in his tenure. We have the pre-engineering programs that are currently being piloted by UMAT and then Pentecost University. We have the 32 TVET centers that are being built, with the first phase being 9. It's a lot. If I actually want to talk about it, it's going to be a lot, but we would just like to say more strength to him for all that he's doing. Then he should just keep on doing all the good things for us. So now back to what he has been to this current week. It's been a lot. I mean, with the issue that had to do with Mensa Sabah and then the Commonwealth Hall, he had to go and then see the Vice Chancellor, yes, Madam Nanaba, and they had quite a conversation.
Is she a professor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They had quite a conversation that had to do with how these issues can be resolved, and then going forward we won't have some of these clashes, hall clashes and all that, and then we have some peace on campus. Yes, and even if there would be a clash, I mean, it should be an intellectual clash. That one, I think, would do more good for us. Yes. So that aside, we had him at the 10th Annual International Tax Conference. Yes, which is by the Chartered Institute of Taxation Ghana. This happened on the 24th and the 25th of August at the College of Physicians and Surgeons at Rich. Yes, so this whole thing was on the theme of improving domestic tax revenue mobilization, a consultative and inclusive approach. Yes, how all taxpayers can find a way to get incentives out of the taxes that we pay and all that. So the conference was really good. So we also had the launch of the Ghana Teacher Prize 2022. Yes, I think this started somewhere 2018. Yeah, which formally was, I think, the Best Teacher Awards or something. Yes, and then in 2018 we had the whole system, or the whole name changed to the Ghana Teacher Prize 2022.
Okay.
Ghana Teacher Prize. So this year we had the 2022 version. And we had 23 teachers and heads of schools shortlisted for the final prize of a 3-bedroom house.
Wow.
Yes, so we are seeing who would get the grand prize of the 3-bedroom house in Tamale on October. Yes. So let's just wait. I pray for the best wins.
That's right.
So, and also we've had the minister on a listening tour.
Okay.
So he's currently engaging stakeholders of the education sector, everybody that qualifies as a stakeholder. Yes, so we currently started from the headquarters of the Pentecost, the Church of Pentecost. Yes, I mean, you would agree that Pentecost Church has really been helping in terms of education, in terms of other things. So yes, he started from there. He engaged the chairman, Apostle Nyameche, Eric Nyameche, engaged him, and then some other leaders on how there can be a collaboration, and then how the educational sector can improve. You would agree that Pentecost University is part of those that are piloting the pre-engineering programs. So yes, basically it's been a successful one.
Wonderful.
This week. Yes.
Wonderful. All right, so thank you very much, Laurentia Babio.
You're welcome.
You are always bringing us stuff from the office of the Minister of Education.
Yes.
When he becomes the president one day, you're going to also report to us from his office.
Sure.
So we'll say reporting from the office of the president. So last week we discussed patriotism. And then I said that everyone should get the Ghana flag. In churches, churches must also have the Ghana flag in front of their buildings. At least every teacher, every headmaster should have a flag in your office. And if you're driving, try and get a Ghana flag in your car. Let's be patriotic. Let's celebrate Ghana. Now, you should know that there are 48 high schools in Ghana that are currently going through transformation. Another great news that I have for you this morning is that we have Bosomche Girls STEM School. We are going to have one at Bunkatamanso. So the people at Bunkatamanso, we are going to have Girls STEM School. And I happen to be in another constituency, so it's a great news, for me to have a STEM school in my constituency. That's a beautiful thing to happen to Bunkatamanso constituency. Inspector Helena Mensah of Katamanso Police Station, Inspector Helena Mensah of Katamanso police station, MTTD unit. God bless you for your services to this country. We celebrate you. All right, so this morning, like I said, we're going to talk about talents. Building talents, identifying it. And I have two strong guests this morning. It's going to be beautiful. My first guest is Mr. Solomon Atete, who is a lecturer at the West End University at Wager, and also a lecturer at the Center for Teacher Development, Ghana. He's been on this show. In fact, I started this program with him online. One day he will tell us the story of how it all started. And then I have Mr. Aaron Chum Akwabua. He's a Strategy and Innovation Director at the Ministry of Education. A man I always love to listen to, endowed with wisdom and information. I'm so honored this morning to have this great gentleman in studio. Good morning to you, sirs.
Good morning.
All right, so thank you very much for coming. Inviting people on this show every Saturday morning is not an easy thing. And you look at the week, you go through a lot of things. And then on Saturday morning, 7 a.m., you are awake. I mean, obviously, you woke up before 6 to be here this morning. Thank you very much. Ghana appreciate you. And I believe that the minister appreciates what you do for this country. Now, this morning, we're going to be talking about talents in our children. And I'll start with Mr. Aaron Chum Akwabua. What is... we have something that we call the gifted and talented education. What is that about?
So, to define the term GATE, gifted and talented education, it is designed to provide students with extraordinary academic gifts and creative abilities, targeted instruction to foster their unique skills, right?
Okay.
So let's break GATE down into
You are
6
listening
broad categories.
to the Transformation
Number one
Agenda
is
series on
intellectual
education
ability.
with
That is
Abraham
individuals who you might say they wake up in the morning and they're smarter than other people.
Okay.
Meaning that their IQ is tested 130 plus. Or that type of thing. And then you have individuals who also have high academic ability or achievement ability.
Okay.
So for maybe 2 to 3 years consistently, that student has been doing very well in all of their classes.
Okay.
A plus or whatever marker you have.
Okay.
Then you also have specific academic ability. And those are the individuals who are so strong in a particular type of academics, right? So maybe you have the student who's fantastic at maths, better than everyone in the classroom, the town, even the country crowd, right? So you have to think about it that way. Then you also have creative ability.
Okay.
You know those people who can make anything. We all know that young person who they see 2 small things here, then they make a computer, whatever it is. I was watching YouTube, and there was a young man that really makes me think about this creative ability.
Okay.
He created a car. I think we've seen it. This young Ghanaian boy, he was 17 or so, and he created his own car from scrap parts. Everyone else can't do that. That's a gift. That's a talent, right? And then you also have leadership ability. Think about the Big 6.
Okay.
The way the country was created. Those individuals were geniuses, and they were gifted, and they had talent in leadership ability. The people who can speak to you and make you change your mind, even though you're entrenched in the way you think, right? You're different. They have a special ability. And then the last one is ability in performing arts or visual art, right? So those are the individuals that we consider to be gifted and talented.
Okay.
Right? And so we want to approach those individuals and support them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what is going on in the Ministry of Education.
So that is the goal. We've written,
okay.
We've actually written
sure.
We have a draft ready for cabinet.
Okay.
Because we want to create institutions that support those individuals.
Okay.
Now, you may say to yourself, what does that mean? How do we go about those things, right? And so gifted and talented is also something the data says that 6 to 10% of any population is gifted and talented.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Right?
Now,
I'm not saying that everyone doesn't have talents or skills, but we're talking about the most talented, the most skilled, the most gifted individuals is about 6 to 10% of any population.
Okay.
Right? And so what we've thought of is that we need to create institutions for them and programming for them. Because if you are a child and you are so smart, what happens in the classroom when everyone is here, right? At let's say 5 and you are 15, you'll be bored. You'll be the one who causes trouble.
Okay.
I know that every single one of us knows a child where you're saying, this child is mischievous. They're always busy. They're always doing this and that. It's because their talent is not being harnessed. And so that's part of what we're thinking of.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Aaron Chumakwabo. Mr. Solomon Natite.
Series on education.
I look at, I don't want to use the word Africans, but let me just borrow it. Now, we have a child that's stubborn, for example. Now, you realize that children who are like that are independent. They want to do what they want to do. That's what they think. Now, identifying the talent of a child, how do we do that? Now, I also want to ask you, as you answer that question, that do we really pay attention to that? Are we educated to be able to identify who this child is going to become? Because if I'm a Christian, so let me just use a scripture in the Bible. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. It says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou comest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet. So in other words, I'm thinking that every child that is born has a reason, or there's a purpose for which that child was born. And that God is sending that child for a particular and a unique, purpose. And that he infuses into your system that ability that will help you to fulfill that purpose for which you were brought on earth. Are we as parents able to identify, and are we educated enough to be able to know that this child that I have is mischievous, like Mr. Kwabwa would say, or is stubborn? Sometimes we say they are loud, and we sort of think that it's a negative tendency, and we try to suppress them. How do we identify it, and how do we help the children with that understanding that they didn't just come, but they came for a reason?
Thank you very much. Let me say good morning to the Honorable Minister and congratulate him for the endeavor to be held in his honor.
That's
I
right.
think that it's very important. It's not easy for you to have a whole lot of people gather because of you.
That's right.
Just because of maybe something good you are doing.
We are doing, yeah.
And so may God richly bless him for the good work he's doing.
Amen.
Yes, as my brother has rightly said, in fact, a talent is hidden in every child. Yes. So that natural ability to do something, and like you said, in fact, that is the problem we have in our part of the world. Our parents do not pay attention to our children, and as you were saying, most often in our part of the world, children who try to have that kind of excellent IQ are labeled as in quote, and that is it's a worrying issue that we have. And once you start doing that, when you label a child like that, what happens is that you suppress the child.
You are
and
listening.
So because it's an idea we have, when the child is doing something, what have you? And that is a very bad thing. It has a negative effect on our children. One of the reasons why this happens is that we are not aware that children have some talent hidden in them, or talent are hidden, and that we need to discover them. Now, how to discover them itself is another issue, because we are not on top of these things in our part of the world. It becomes very difficult for us to discover the talent of our children, and so at the end of the day, the talents go waste. In fact, we have at a point in time in every child's life, we have a time when the talents of the child must be discovered, and when that time is wasted, you see that the talent in a child itself becomes a waste. And so I pray that parents listen so much to this program, so that the little things my brother and myself will talk about, they will pay attention to them, begin to observe those things in their children. Yes, sometimes even a talent is a trait, and so sometimes even the mother, the father of the child might have something in him or her.
Yeah.
And you see that most of it, when you are doing that thing, the child wants to do it with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When that begins to happen, it's a signal that child is talented in that activity.
Okay.
And so what you do is that you give attention to the child, and sometimes before you realize, the child is doing more than even you can do as a mother or a father.
And it's unfortunate, but you have fathers or mothers who will be jealous of that child and think that their own children are trying to outshine them.
And they ask you,
yeah,
you understand me? Yes, instead of paying attention to some of these things so that we help our children, we push them to get to where they need to get to, we ignore it, and then we begin to make some funny comments. And so if you're a parent and you see that you like something and you realize that your child takes delight in that thing, and most of it, before you start, the child is already doing it. You realize that it's a signal that the child is talented in that thing.
All right.
Besides, one other thing we have to know is that children are born to play. So most of them, I have problem with teachers when they complain that their children play too much. Who told you a child will not play? The child will play. And that is when they kind of exhibit the talents they have.
Okay.
You see, we in our part of the world, we think that when children are fidgeting with toys and what have you, they are playing. Children learn with those things, and that is when they sort of try to exhibit the talent they have. And so we have to pay close attention to the children when they are playing. In fact, when your child is playing, make sure you monitor the child's play and find out if there's something positive that is going to come out of it. Because whatever it is that children do, there is that kind of positivity that may come out of it. Another issue is that children have very short attention span, and so they can't stay on a particular task over a period of time. Now, if you have a child who is able to stay on a particular activity for a longer period of time, it's a signal that that child is talented.
It's a signal that child is talented. Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Atete. Now, let me ask Mr. Kwabwa, what measure is the government and the ministry putting in place to search for gifted and talented people?
Yeah, so the first thing that we're doing is, number one, like I said, we have a draft for cabinet ready for gifted and talented education as a full program. And in doing that program, we've studied many different countries, right? We studied what Singapore is doing, what South Korea has done, what the United States has done other places. So let me give you a small example, right? You look at South Korea and look at Singapore, right? They both started national gifted and talented institutions in the early 1980s. Now, where do you get your phone from? You get your phone from Samsung, Korean company, right? So you think about this. Who is making those things, right? It's not just like thinking of STEM and those kind of things. It's actually that they are giving these young people, the individuals in their country who are gifted and talented, they're giving them the education and the ability to focus. Like my brother said, if a child can sit and focus on something and work on a thing and deal with it consistently, that means they truly enjoy it, correct?
Okay.
So that is part of what we're doing. So in our programming, we looked at what Korea is doing, and we looked at what Singapore is doing, and they did two very wonderful things. Number one, they set aside gifted and talented institutions.
Okay.
So just as we're building our STEM schools
and the STEAM,
yeah, right. Just like we're building those types of institutions, we want to build gifted and talented institutions. Right?
Okay.
Even within our STEM schools or separate.
Okay.
Where the top 6 to 10% will be going to school for particular subject areas, a particular interest. So for example, you can build a creative arts school for all your super talented people. Can I say something that may sound rude? Ghana, we have an entertainment problem.
Okay.
We watch Nigerian films.
Yeah.
We watch Indian people and we dub Twi and other Ghanaian languages.
Yeah.
We have an entertainment problem. But we also have a problem in capturing individuals who are what? Who are talented so they can be creative. So part of what the government wants to do is set up creative art schools. The government wants to set up sports academies for individuals who have a talent in sports, because we need a new Azuma Nelson. Professor, I love you, but we need a new one of you.
Okay.
You see, we need a new Abedi Pele, right? So the government is trying to do those things. In addition, when we are talking about teacher education, we are doing what my brother said in making sure that teachers can actually identify students who have those talents. To be able to tell the headmaster that this young man, the way that he's doing the maths, this young lady, the way that they sing in the courtyard and they play and those things, they have a skill that is high level. Let's do something special for them and create those type of programs. Another thing that we're thinking about is this. How do we educate the whole country on this? That's why I'm here.
Great.
I'm here to tell you that there are people who are special in our society, and they should not be told that because they're faster than someone, they have to bring down their abilities. In Ghana, I think we have a problem. I don't know about everyone else, but when you know things, you're too know. When you are good, you're too good. Why? Why is being great a problem for us? So even in this conversation, this is part of what the government is doing to ensure that people know that gifted and talented is there, that we need to give these people special support. And another thing that we really want to push forth is teaching our parents about these things. And also, please, parents, coming from myself, coming from us as a ministry, coming from as government, please stop telling your children that they have to do a particular profession. When you tell your child you must be a lawyer at all costs, that small talent they have, that ability to sing, you may have just destroyed Ghana's next best singer. You may have just destroyed Ghana's next best engineer, or even a career that we don't know. For example, your career did not exist in the year 1910. You see? So if your grandfather wanted to be a radio person, right? And your great-great-grandmother said no, you see, your career would not exist. You see? So those are some of the things we're talking about here. It's really about a public campaign, a grassroots campaign to understand what being gifted is. And then also, like we said, setting up the schools and the processes within the schools. So, for example, I think I'm very uniquely qualified to talk about this. Because lucky enough for myself, when I was in class 2 in the U.S., I was given the gifted and talented test. And obviously, I passed it. I'm gifted. So what happened was, they set my classes aside. So they did not accelerate me from class 2 to class 4, but they gave me class 4 reading in class 2. They gave me class 3 mathematics in that level, right? So even if you don't set up a separate school, the other thing that Korea and other countries have done, and like the US has done, is that they actually give you an ability for your students to take higher level classes even within the same classroom. And so by the time I reached junior high school, I was in a program called Accelerated Academics. In that program, I was given specialized classes that were above grade level. What did that do for me? It put me in a position where I was able to interact with things. By the time I went to secondary school, they even did another wonderful thing. They gave me a specialized program. I wanted to be a lawyer. You can tell by the way I talk. I talk too much. But anyway, as someone who wants to be a lawyer, they built a courtroom in our school for us. And I would even go to the University of Southern California every 2 weeks, and I would go practice how to be a lawyer there. So they captured that talent. Now, did I end up being a lawyer? Answer is no. But all those skills that I gained from being tagged as gifted when I was in class 2, more than 30 years ago, has brought me to a position where I've been a 20-year teacher, and I'm sitting here now. So you have to capture those talents early.
All right, thank you. Good. So early, that's the question. And next question I wanted to. Now you have been with schools in this country for a long time. You are training teachers. If you identify, a teacher identifies that there's a student in this class who likes to sing, for example, or a student who sits on the table and be hit, or sit on the chair and be hitting drumming with the table. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to call the student. Who is that? And you start caning that child for disturbing the class. But then that student or that child is actually practicing or loves to drum.
I'm telling you that this is what
I really want to do.
I have in me.
Do we have a system where government is in the process of doing all these things? Like the minister talks about STEAM, where we bring the art, the visual art, where he talks about they getting into engineering and all that connection that all these giftings and talents have. Now, if we sit in the class or stand in front of a student and we identify that this child has this gift as a teacher, what do we do?
Yes, let me just talk about something he did mention, then we move.
Good.
He was talking about, yes, you being in a child being the same class with the peers, yet the child is giving something extra to do.
Great.
Yes, it's a very good, and that is what we call content acceleration.
Okay.
That's content acceleration, and it's very good. In our part of the world, we don't do those things. We just sometimes lift the children from the classroom, send them to maybe higher classes, then later it tends to affect them.
Okay.
When the child is in the same class with the peers, and then you do content acceleration, it makes them become so confident. And when they go out, when they meet other people, they are able to interact. But then when you just take them out, put them there, they are suppressed. They sometimes feel that, oh, these ones are bigger than me. My age is even, less than what they. So sometimes they feel intimidated. So we have to take a look at some of these things. You see, it's very important that we have to note this. A teacher must always be around where children play. So during break times, you have to be around the children. And that is when you identify the talent in them.
I think that comes to where Mr. Akwabua said that the teachers are being trained to be able to identify. And one of the means by which you can identify is actually to go and stand outside and watch the kids as they play.
Yeah. So you watch them as they play. And like he said, then once you identify those things, you just have to inform the headmaster that I see Kwame does this so much. So we will not disturb Kwame so much about the other thing. You see, sometimes you ask yourself, how can you judge a fish by how it climbs or its ability to climb a tree? The fish will not climb a tree; it swims. So put the fish in the water, in the river, and you find it swims so much. So the fact is, if you're a teacher, pay attention. You see, there's a column in the terminal report, and I've always had problems with teachers. The child's interest. And when the child scores 90 in mathematics, they write their mathematics. Tomorrow, when the child scores 95 in RME, they write their RME. But that is not the issue. A child could get even 20% in a particular, but that could be the child's interest. It doesn't mean that.
Wow.
So we have to pay attention to some of these things. It's very important. And I'm very happy that my brother here is with the ministry, and he has knowledge about what he's talking about. And so I believe that in no time, and I feel that this thing should be documented so that irrespective whoever is found there, this thing must
whoever becomes the Minister of Education should follow this.
Yes, very important, so that we can come out of that kind of era where people are in the classroom and they think that, oh, I must only become an accountant, I must only become this or that. No. Look at it. We once had this man, a medical doctor in Brazil. Yet he was a footballer. I think it was Socrates or whatever. Yes, he was a footballer, and he depended so much on footballing rather than being in the medical field. But in our part of the world, people think that the child must only become a doctor. The child, before you see it as a successful child. We're not properly developing our that we don't. Let me say, if we're not even developing it, we have to improve the talents
at the basic level. At the basic level, where these things grow. I mean, not when the child gets to say junior high before we are, but the little one. Sometimes even your temperament. You know, there's a choleric. These are the things they can do. This is a phlegmatic. This is a sanguine. This is a melancholic. All this temperaments perhaps could lead you to a particular gift or talent in a particular child. Now, let me ask you this question before I come to Mr. Kwabo. Now, when I identify a particular gift or talent in a child, a talent in a child, say in my classroom, it's a single individual. I mean, I see him being like it could be a great musician. What should I do as a teacher?
Yes, if you see a child to be a great musician, what you do is that you put. That is why even the current curriculum talks about it. We should have clubs in the schools, so that if you see the child is a great musician, then you put the child into the music What club?
Do we have the clubs in the schools?
That is a question we need to ask.
So I think
even if it is we have them, do we even know why we have them there? We'll come to parents.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
wow.
And I have a few things to say to that.
Yeah.
Thank you. First thing is I want to mention a name, Georgia Pongwea.
Okay.
That man is a president.
Yes.
When I knew him, he was a footballer.
Yes.
When I was young, I saw that name, I heard that name, footballer. But he's the president. Let's think about that too. In Ghana, we will not want to have a footballer as our president. We will immediately say that even though that person has reached the highest levels in that level of talent, they have not been academic enough. So even before we talk about gifts and talents, let's have a conversation here as Ghanaians.
You're right.
That everything that a person does, they can be great at it.
Great.
So stop putting ourselves in these boxes. That is why, like I said, we have an entertainment problem. We have a football problem. We have an athletics problem. Why is it that when you watch the European Championships, you see a Ghanaian on every European team? I've never watched soccer. I've never watched championship soccer and not seen a Ghanaian on the teams. But we won't win the World Cup.
Wow.
Think about that. That's one.
Yeah.
Another thing is this. Yes, it's about the clubs and organizations and the extracurricular. For example, lucky for myself, living and schooling outside of Ghana, one thing that I really want to say about that is this. The two things the U.S. gave me is confidence and ability to have different roles. So if I'm in a club, I was in a speech and debate club. I was president of speech and debate.
Wow.
So I get to be what? A speaker, right? I already told you about the times I was able to practice as a lawyer as a child, right? I also had a job. I worked at a law firm when I was 18. Wow. You don't work anywhere in Ghana, right? You don't have those experiences. In addition to that, I was in a school play in middle school. So now I'm an actor. So this, and then don't forget that I played athletics. So I ran track, I played football, I played soccer, I played American football, and I played basketball. So think about all of these roles that I play. And within those roles also, I'm a leader. You see? So it's about clubs and organizations. And I don't want Ghanaians to take this and say, my school doesn't have the resource. You're lying to yourself. Stop telling me you don't have the resource for art when you have chalk. When you have colored chalk, you have a resource for art class. When you tell me about you don't have a resource for speech and debate, so you're telling me you don't have an English teacher, you don't have a history teacher, you don't have a linguistics teacher in your school who can sit with the young people and give them some spontaneous argumentation, say, this is a political issue, read about it, talk about it, and teach them debate. These are free. Open your minds because they're there. So the clubs are there, the activities are there, but even more importantly, let's go to the core curriculum. The reason why we are attempting to talk about changes in curriculum, even the curriculum for the basic schools that we've worked on, and then the secondary school curriculum that we're currently working on, is to remove the rote memorization.
Okay.
How do I know that you're a good speaker in a classroom that doesn't allow you to speak? How do I know you are good at art in a classroom where you never draw? There's a problem here. We have to talk about the curriculum itself. We are destroying talent because we're not opening the curriculum.
And I have a serious, I'll call it a problem. We seem to be glued to one thing, that when we see changes, we fight it. Because everything, you hear people say the Minister for Education came from America, he's trying to bring, everything is referring to America. And I ask myself, like, people always want to go to America to go to school. And someone is coming from America that you want to go to school. And he's bringing the ideas that they have. He talked about school affiliations, where you have the assistant headmaster from Presec, now the headmaster at Abomosu STEM School, and he's trying to implement the things that were then the quality, the DNA of Presec into the Abomosu STEM School. Yeah. You have someone from the Wesley Girls at the Methodist school at the Manfin Methodist. Now, if these things are working and we can see them work, why do we always have this mindset of trying to fight everything? Anyway, let me just allow our listener to also call into the show as we continue with the conversation. So you can get to us on 0302 20 80 80. 0302 20 80 80. Or you can also send us a WhatsApp on 0500,000 202. And I'm here with Mr. Aaron Chumakwabua, who is a Strategy and Innovation Director at the Ministry of Education, and also Mr. Solomon Natitei, who is a lecturer at the West End University and also Center for Teacher Development Ghana. And we are discussing identifying the talents of our children and helping them to develop it for country. Help build this country. Mr. Kwabwa said Ria was a footballer. He's now the president of Liberia. Maybe you have identified some kind of a talent in your ward or child and you don't know what to do. I think that if you call to the studio, we have the guest here who will help you what to do. All right, so let me come back to Mr. Kwabwa. There's a caller on the line. All right, so good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Samuel Abre.
Hey, Samuel Abre, Honorable Samuel Abre. Thank you very much for calling us. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes.
All right, so talk to us, sir.
Yeah, I think this program shouldn't end today. You have to bring these two gentlemen on your program. Probably next week will be okay. Because this is one of the most educative programs that parents need to listen to.
Wow.
So it shouldn't be just a day show. We need to educate our parents. Let me put it that we need to educate the parents until they come to realization that no, there is a mistake somewhere, they are doing a mistake. Because the education system is now like, go for the teacher to teach you. And the parents are not being a very good observers. So based on that, our children are lacking behind. So I believe that the way forward will be when we have people like this on this kind of shows, we will be able to achieve what we want to achieve.
Great. Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable. We are grateful for you calling us this morning. God bless you wherever you are. Thank you very much. There's another one on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please, your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Martin. I'm calling from Somanya.
Grace, Somanya. Hi, Somanya.
By God's grace, we're good.
God bless you for calling. Please talk to us.
I'm almost tearing up listening to the gentleman in the studio. This is an amazing program that should only be put on your radio station. Going about GDP and to GTV.
Yeah.
Okay. I look around this country and it seems to me like everybody wants to be a lawyer, everybody wants to be a teacher, everybody wants to be a politician. And it's as if we don't attain such height, you don't belong to the society. What your colleague or your gentleman there from the US is saying, talents are harnessed. And regardless of what talent you harness, the fellow can become great and do something for the benefit of humanity.
You are listening.
So why don't we
to
look
the
at the
transformation.
basics and harness talent? Look, I have 3 boys. One of them is a talkative. And I noticed that this boy has got something in an area of being a journalist or probably a speaker. But the mother won't have any of it. You're talking too much, and we always fight. I said, look, allow the boy to express himself. A boy at 13 has read about 115 books. I buy the books myself, and you are skewing the boy, and I said, look, this is what he loves doing. Let him do it. He cannot be like anybody. He's not good at math, and so what? If he's good at reading, let him read. Please, let's identify talent, harness them, help the young ones, and not box them. But by all means, he must be an accountant. By all means, must be a doctor. By all means, must be a lawyer.
Thank
by
you.
All means, must do something special because a parent wants their kid to do what he couldn't do.
Thank you very much. I feel the passion in your voice as you speak. God bless you so much for calling us from Somanya. We are grateful. Thank you very much. There's someone on the line. Good morning, Nene.
Good morning. My name is Victor, calling from Agohe, Katashel.
All right, so Victor, talk to us, sir.
The the genesis of it was from the family, the house, the father,
Mm.
and the mother.
Mm.
That's the first classroom.
Mm.
So as a parent, you should be able to identify the talent of your child.
Mm.
Then the teachers have to qualify it by observing it and coach that child to become a great person in this world. The seed is already planted in the person.
That's right.
And you can dig that seed and get to the maxis of it and get the code.
That's right.
Of that talent.
Great.
And from there you flow.
Great.
There is a musician who sang a song. The street is an academy. But those who are on the street, they don't know that it's an academy that they should bring their talent out. They are just on the street, not knowing they are passing through an academy.
All right.
So they should get their talent.
Great.
Move on.
All right, Victor, thank you very much for calling us.
I think he says something.
Let's a caller. Let me pick this call, then we'll come in. All right, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, please, your name and where you are calling us from, sir. Starbright is Legon. Starbright, talk to us.
Okay. In fact, I really enjoyed what the two relations persons said.
Yes.
And if we will implement some of the things they said, Ghana will be a better place in maybe 10 to 15 years to come.
Great.
And the government still has a long way to go, or perhaps the ministry, because we have colonial mentality kind of teachers in the system who don't respect some of the things they are saying. So they will have to train new crop of teachers who believe in some of these things.
That's right.
To imbibe into the children. Yes. So thank you so much. And I agree with the first caller who said this very thing should be repeated again. I think it should be done. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So that's one more caller. Let's pick this call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, please. Your name.
Yeah, I'm Na from Nungwa.
Na from Nungwa. Na, please talk to us.
God bless you so much for this program.
God bless you too.
Very educative. I agree with the first caller. This program should be repeated again. Sometimes we often have such experiences because, when parents are not together and they are deliberating about their children's career, you can see the child is in for something good. But because maybe the parents are not together, they will be insisting the child should do this at all costs. And it really affects their life because I'm an example of that. I have a child who wants to be a doctor and the father is saying he has to do a Greek. And it has become a challenge.
He want the child to plant food for us to eat.
It's serious because he did science and he said science is so difficult. The math is so difficult. I don't think you can do it. And the child has an issue and he has always had passion because...
And the word difficult is one of the words the minister doesn't want to hear at all.
Yes. The child has so much passion. She always wants to do medicine. And then the father is like, she can't do it. She can't do it. So it's making the child go through a lot of trauma. She's even going through a therapy now.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's really important you bring it back again.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a caller on the line. All right. Hello. All right. So we are connected to Mr. Ado, Speaker Ado. All right, Speaker Ado on the line. We would like him to speak to us, and then after we'll come in studio and talk to our guest. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, AB.
Yes, sir, boss. Kojo Atadane. Yeah, I'm good. All right. So, Speaker, you heard us having the discussion about gifts and talents. What's your take on the discussion this morning?
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for bringing this topic up. As I said initially with you, we need to have part 2 of this. It is critical.
Wow.
Now, the child has an inherent speciality, a gifting from God. And then it's supposed to be in synchronized with the systems that have been put in place, both educationally and at home. These are the ones that are supposed to guide the child to be able to have a speciality through the gift that is coming out. It must be guided by an adult who has used that part before. Most of the time, the challenges that we have is one, the adult has not been able to go through the curriculum or the literacy system, so he or she is dependent on the fact that, you must be a doctor, you must be an engineer, or you must be a pilot. These are the thinkings because we want an acceptance for the family name. You want the family name to be known, and you want to belong to a certain social class. So if the child's desires and talent and passions are not aligned to that of the society, then it means that the child is going to be probably a liability to the family, and then by extension to also the society. This is what I want us to do. A curriculum that is, one, giving us physical infrastructure, two, giving us the space to be able to exhibit our talent. And through that talent, I believe we will be able to have resourceful human capital. Maybe you have gone to so many schools. And I feel that one of the things that you see is a Sakura Park somewhere that when it is break time, all the children move onto this Sakura Park to play football. But what about people like us who have the passion to do something which is more or less like the swimming, the basketballs, the music, the drama, the public speaking, the poetry? Are our schools having such spaces for us? No, we don't have such spaces. So it is an honest responsibility for our policymakers and to even the parents at home, because the first point of socialization for the child is from home. But the child is mostly exposed to most of these things at home, so that at least when the child grows up, all these things come together.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Our time is up. I'm sure that my producer will agree that we may have a part 2 of this discussion next week, and then we can delve into it and I mean help, because I think this is very important that we thought. That was Kojo Isiamado, Social Policy and Youth Development Advocate. Thank you very much, Mr. Kojo. Mr. Ado, God bless you. All right, so our time is up. Let me ask you your final words.
I pray that we get to the second part of this program probably next week. But my brother said something. I think it's one of the problems we have. We've been hiding words behind this idea that we don't have facility, we don't have this, and that is why we are not. We go to our schools and whatever. Look, I was talking to some teachers a few weeks ago, and I was telling them about the fact that do not stop transmitting knowledge into the children. Look, the whites now today, the Americans as well, they're doing PowerPoint presentation, and somebody was asking me, where are the projectors and what have you? I told the person, look, we can start from somewhere. Get Manila cards. Just put the things there, and they become your slides. Put the first one, discuss with the children.
Improvisation.
One. Yes. You see, there's always a starting point.
That's right.
Before we can move on. The America we're talking about today, the Britain we're talking about, the China we're talking, they didn't start with the projectors or whatever. They started somewhere. And we need to do same, so that at least we can migrate as soon as possible from where we are today to meeting the world standard.
All right.
When that happens, we are sure to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solomon Ateta. Yes.
To all the parents there, your child is not an empty vessel.
Okay.
Like Dr. Edu said, if you're religious and you're deeply Christian, you will say that your child was brought here for a purpose. So if God or a creator gave your child the gift to sing,
good,
and you want to force them to be an architect, you are being unholy directly.
Okay,
it's wrong.
Yeah,
and your child will resent you for the rest of your life.
Wow.
I'm sorry to have to say it so direct, so early in the morning, but please, your child will be fine. Your family name will be fine. They don't have to be an engineer to make your life better. They will make the money. They will make the name. Because you know what? Whenever your child brings you that 1,000 cities, they don't bring their business card with it. Their name doesn't come with it. Their title doesn't come with it.
Sure.
So you have to think about it like that. That your child was brought here as a gift from God. Every birth is a miracle. Imagine holding something for 9 months and being able to go through that painful experience. Your child is a miracle and a gift to you, to the country, and to the world. Let them show their gifts. You cannot hide their gifts under a bushel. You see, let them shine. And that's what we need to think about.
Let them
right?
shine.
Let them shine. And lastly, you said something about the minister not wanting to hear things about difficult.
Yes.
There's no such thing as difficult. People have climbed Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on the planet.
Great.
People have gone to the moon. You're telling me that you can't support your daughter to learn maths, that is a fault of you.
Great.
You then need to go learn some more maths to support your daughter in doing what? Learning maths.
Okay.
Take it as a challenge. There's no such thing as difficult. If you believe life is a challenge and you're willing to support yourself and learn, you can get there. We always have our doors open at the ministry.
Okay.
We always are willing to support.
Great.
Right. And before I go, I just want to say again, earlier I did not say my comments about the minister.
Okay.
I think some of you already know that I've known the minister for the last 30 years.
Great.
He was a teacher of mine. I've worked with him, and he supported us very well. And I'm very, very happy to hear that the people of his constituency
That's right.
of Jache are taking the time.
Consistency.
Yes, constituency are taking the time to really give him the amount of love and respect that he deserves.
Great.
And so I want to make sure that we hear that.
Thank you very much. That was Aaron Chum Akwabua, who is a strategy and innovation director at the Ministry of Education. I also had Mr. Solomon Atitae. You agree with me that we've had a very beautiful conversation. Well, I'll discuss with my producer and see if next week we're going to have part 2 of this. Because we need to find out how we can, a lot of talents in children. And there are people too who have this talent, and it's like, one go school to yeah. You go to the mechanic shop and this guy you put your car there, he just wears something. He didn't go to school, he just the apprenticeship, he knows it. He takes 500 Ghana from you, you pay one far can be easy. And one of the things I'm so happy about STEM education and TVET, because here you can have your talent harnessed.
And let me appeal to my brother here, since it's there. Ashaiman has a lot of talent, and we need those schools over there.
Yeah, and that's why we are having the Katamanso STEM, girl STEM, yeah.
Yes, we need more.
More, all right. The minister is listening to you. I hope he will do that.
And like the minister has been talking about the taxes and things.
Yeah.
Ghanaians, the government doesn't get to print money, yo. That's why, you see, so please, if you have any tax debt, try your best. Let's pay our taxes. Let's make sure that we go into those things, because we can make it up. You see, we want to provide everything, but the government doesn't have a job.
All right.
The government doesn't get up and go.
All right.
Has a job. We need the money.
All right. All right. So thank you very much for doing the listening. Thank you very much, Uncle George, my producer, my technical director, Yima Ado. Thank you, Lady Pastor Vanessa, for monitoring from Word Radio GH. And also thank you very much, Lauren Shababy, for bringing us the Duchum Diaries. God bless you. Honorable Dr. Yao said we're going to see you hopefully tomorrow. All of us are coming there. And then the people of Osumutrin constituency, Jachi, wherever you are, God bless you for this. Making sure that this man is on it. He deserves it. Thank you very much. We are going to come again next week with another beautiful conversation. Thank you for all those who called us and those who did the listening. Go on Facebook and share the link so that other people can also watch. God bless you. See you again. I'm out. Classic.